faith. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday, we discuss the situations.
Between October, guess what? Twice in their countless attempt to scoop fuel from overturned tankers. Ask yourself, is it worth the risk? The answer is a resounding no. Scooping fuel from an overturned petrol tanker is not just risky, it is downright suicidal. Petrol, diesel, kerosene, and gas are highly flammable. One spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify putting your own life on the line to stay alive. Potential explosion. It is better to stay alive for your loved ones who depend on you than any way being otherwise. Remember, fuel scooping is deadly. Don't take the risk. Stay alive, be alive, and live well.
This message is from Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
So precisely, you cannot say we are not welcoming these coalitions. Any coalitions that will make the country to succeed in terms of providing all the necessary things to the populace of the country is a welcoming idea. And at the same time, when you see a group of like-minded people who have all it takes to change the narratives of the country or to change the situation and conditions that people facing in that country, it is a welcoming idea. We really welcoming the idea of coalitions on its own as an idea. We are not against it. But what we are stand and challenge on this coalition or the so-called coalitions is that the modalities and the process that was followed to conduct this coalition, it was totally undemocratic. It's totally undemocratic in the sense that the people who are the bona fide members of the party, people who are the card-carrying members of the party, people who are registered members of the party, they have been in the party for long. Even those that came today have been mocking them, have been snubbing them and saying that you carry this, you take this, your party is not going anywhere. And you just come and bring them into the party without proper consultations, without any proper informations and carrying the members along through the process of the coalitions. That's what we are against now. Because things have to be in a democratic way. We are in a democratic society. For just one single person or a group of people to go and sit down in their own comfort zone, you understand, to start declaring this and that in a party which is belong to all Nigerians, I think this is not fair at all, and it is totally irrational, because you need to rationalize things before you come up with it.
Very good evening to you. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Situation Room, live on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's been a rainy day in the city of Lagos, and a big shout out to my friends on the island, by the way. My guests are stuck in traffic, and I just got message right now that there's flooding everywhere on the island. So to my friends and everyone listening right now, if you're stuck in that traffic, I say enjoy the moment. Hey, Lagos always comes with its own problems. So it's a case of how do I put it now? A situation where even the people in charge are helpless about. And every moment it rains in Lagos, especially on the island, it's always a whole lot of problem that people would struggle to deal with. I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues before I, came into the studio. I said, when I was in ABG last week, and I told a couple of my friends on the other side, I said, hey, some of the fast cars that we see celebrities in Lagos drive around are actually even made for Abuja Road. Hey, my, oh my. It's a beautiful space. At night, during the day, everywhere seems smooth in the FCT. And I said, some of the cars that these people are making to suffer on the roads in Lagos are actually meant for Abuja Road. So now that it rains, there are some of the cars you cannot move out of your house. In fact, if you leave them in your compound, those cars could get submerged in water. Hey, well, welcome to the Friday edition of the Situation Room. What a week it's been. And hey, there's so much to talk about on the show today. But of course, remember, we'll continue our series of engagement on the upcoming local government election next week, Saturday, the 12th day of July 2025. Lagosians will go to the polls to choose who would be their chairman and their councillors across the 20 local government and 37 LCDs in Lagos. Well, they call them Coalition 57 in Lagos. Well, a lot of people had also raised questions about the, the legality of INEC or LASEC rather are conducting elections in those 37 LCDAs. I remember the chairmanship candidate for Youth Party for Iᴏᴜᴜ local government, Ayo Adio, was in the studio and was talking about the fact that, you know what, it's not proper for, those LCDAs to be captured in the local government election, especially on the back of the Supreme Court judgment that gave absolute autonomy to local government, and that judgment was given on the premises of 774 local governments as captured by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he didn't capture the 37 LCDAs in Lagos, but why would there be local government elections in those LCDAs? But hey, I'm sure LASEC, in their own wisdom, must have communicated with all the candidates or the candidates this time around, especially since after the primaries across all political parties from the PDP to the APC to the Labour Party. I don't know if the ADC would be, gingered, let me use that word, to be involved in the election, especially at the back of the, the coalition APC in 2027. What the week it's been. Last week, Friday, we all saw the resignation of the national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, and then there were a lot of rumors around that, the SGF, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, had also resigned, to take over that role. There's just been a whole lot of talks, and it was supposed to be ADA, according to, what a lot of them expected. But at the end of the day, it became the ADC, African Democratic Congress, the party that presented Dumebi Kachiko as their presidential candidate in 2023. Eventually became the platform at which the APC would be challenged in 2027. And then there was initially an interim appointment of the president of the 6th and 7th Assembly of the Nigeria Senate, talking about distinguished Senator Dr. David Mark, becoming the interim national chairman until his appointment was ratified and a membership card of the ADC was issued to him on Wednesday at the Yaradua Center in Abuja. That's the venue of the meeting of the coalition. We also saw the former Commissioner for Works in Lagos and the former governor of Osun State and Minister of Interior, talking about Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, also becoming the interim until he was also ratified the secretary of the party. There were also ESCOs or, leaders appointed across the southwest, the northeast, the north, and all of that. So as it stands, the African Democratic Congress is the platform at which the coalition will go into the 2027 election. Well, they said actually saying they don't trust INEC to be able to register AD. And if you look at the list of over 100, interest groups that have, applied or to INEC to be registered as political parties, ADA appeared twice. So maybe there's already someone somewhere, holding on to the name AD. Already has a structure, has already been part of the election. Remember, the Lagos State governorship candidate of the party was Mr. Funsho Doherty. He was the governorship candidate of the party in the 2023 election of the ADC. But as it stands right now, there's also been conversation around which faction of the party has the legitimate rights to absorb new members into the party. So the soundbite I played at the start of this show was the voice of the National Publicity Secretary of the ruling of the ADC. Apologies. Musa, members of the new coalition were absorbed into the ADC is undemocratic, and he said that's what they kick against. That there are members of the party that have been mocked, that have been ridiculed, yesterday Mr. Miwademi was on the show, but on Wednesday, yes, Mr. Shola Fashure was also on the show, the media advisor to the new secretary of the ADC, the former minister of Interior, the immediate past minister of Interior, actually. He was also on the show via phone, talking to us about the position of his principal, and he made some key he gave some key answers to some of the questions. And I asked him that, what happens if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reaches out to your principal, to say, you know what, forget what may has happened in the past. You're one of my friends. You were my commissioner for works. I supported your political ambition when you contested for governor. I also financed your tribunal issue when you had with former, the PDP man, Olagunsoye. Come, let's fix our problems. And Mr. Shola Fashure said it's not going to happen. That the relationship between Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has crossed the bridge of reconciliation, and nothing can happen in between them again. So those were our takeaways on Wednesday. And on Thursday, Mr. Miwademi was here, the immediate past chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, and he broke everything. He's taking it with some form of cautious optimism, especially how we look at the people involved in the coalition. Senator Dr. David Mark, that's 16 years as a senator. 8 of those 16 years were as the president of the Nigerian Senate in the 6th and the 7th Assembly. Of course, the former speaker, governor, and minister are talking about Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi is also a member of the coalition. Rauf Aregbesola, former commissioner, governor, and minister as well, a member of the coalition, the former governor of Kaduna State and former FCT minister, former member of the APC that also resigned and joined the SDP as is also a part of the coalition, talking about El-Rufai, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. There's also the former governor of Sokoto State and former speaker of the House of Representatives, talking about Aminu Tambuwa. There's also the former AGF, Attorney General of the Federation, talking about Abubakar Malami. Those are the key members of the coalition. So Mr. Miwademi said, you know what, let us be careful. Let us not get carried away with the entire buzz around the coalition. Let the coalition also solve the litigations. There are about 6 cases about the leadership of the ADC in court at the moment. And also look at the fact that you need to identify if there are moles in the party. I mean, you understand how the politics works in this country. But the question everyone keep asking is this: what happens to the reconciliation committee that was set up by the PDP, headed by the former president of the Nigerian Senate, distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki? Is there still PDP? Yesterday, the FCT minister immediately had a press conference and he had a wash down on all of the members of the coalition, saying that, this one was this person, what did he do when he was governor, what did he do when he was minister, what did he do when he was the grow, is the presence of an opposition. And if you look at the opposition parties we've had before the coming together of the coalition, it looks like they're allowing the ruling APC to have a field day. A caucus meeting. The governors of Enugu and Bauchi and Oyo State are calling for a NEC meeting, the 100th, that was held on the 30th of June. So the PDP has had its own issues as well. Look at the Labour Party. Is Julius Abure today? Is Lamidi Apapa tomorrow? Is Senator Nemandi today? So all of the major political parties that had a good showing in the last election have had issues of leadership. Governor Abba Umar of Kano State. So there's been a whole lot of issues across some of those political parties. But now that the ADC is here, Mr. Adeyemi also broke it down that rather than focusing on the 2027 election, they should tell Nigerians what they would do to all of the problems that we have. You don't need a soothsayer to tell you the problems we have in this country. You don't even need a political scientist to break all of them down. There are insecurities everywhere. People are getting killed in Plateau. People are getting killed in Benue. People are getting killed in Nasarawa. People are getting killed in Borno State. We have food crisis. The cost of food items in the market is almost unaffordable for the people. We have, decay in infrastructure. We just talked about the flooding on the island is a problem we know, but what are we doing to prevent it from happening? So we have a lot of issues that we are to fix these problems. That is what Nigerians want to know. So it's been a whole week that has so much to do about politics. And yesterday as well, the 7 House of Representative members, 6 of them from the PDP and 1 from YPP from Akwa Ibom State, also decamped to the ruling All Progressive Congress in Abuja yesterday. Their letter, Speaker of Rivers State, former Minister of Transport, Right Honorable Lᴏᴜᴜ was also on TV, and he said, if I'm voted as the president of Nigeria, if I pick the ticket of the ADC in the next election, I will do only 1 term as president. Those were his words yesterday. Well, later tonight at 7 p.m., the FCT minister is also going to be on national TV. Yes, don't miss that for anything in this world. Talking about Bafdele Momodu was also on one of the TV stations saying that, you know what, the country is in a bad place and the coalition are the only people that can fix it. But you've listened to all of this conversation on the show today. What do you make of the speaker, minister, former governor, minister, former governor, minister, former commissioner, governor, minister? So these are individuals that have held political offices at different times. And maybe you think the problem of the country started 10 years ago, or it started 5 years ago, or it started 2 years ago, a breath of fresh air. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to be 79 in November 2025. So by the next election, it's going to be about 80 going to 90. Ahmed Tinubu does another 4 years till 2031. That means Atiku Abubakar is going to be 85 by 2031 when we are going into the next election. So you look at some of these indices, what is going to happen in the primaries of the ADC? The running mate to Peter Obi in 2023 election, Yusuf Babadati, was also on TV, and he says, hey, he's a member of the coalition, by the way, but he says he's managing his own expectations, and these are the reasons. He said when it comes to the primaries, that who can withstand Atiku Abubakar? He said it was in Port Harcourt when the reign of dollar was falling, and then he knows that Atiku Abubakar goes into primaries and is always brutal. Those were his words. So, which of these guys can actually put it down? Money for if they want to adopt a southern, a candidate ahead of the next election. These are permutation. These are not the position of Mainland 98.3 FM. These are not the position of Okweyemi Akinde that is hosting this show. These are permutations that is everywhere for the public to preview and adopt if they choose to. So that has been the conversation the entire week. But hey, we can't get our guest in the studio today. We'll have to do that via phone. And I have 1 local government chairmanship candidate and 2 councillorship candidates, all of them from Eᴇᴜᴜ local government on the platform of Labour Party. Let me take a quick break. I will link up with our guest via phone, and then we'll have about 20-minute interview with them. They would come back to you and will allow you to have an opinion actually on all of the things that had happened all through the week politically in Nigeria, from the resignation of the APC national chairman, from the adoption of the ADC by the coalition as a vehicle to contest the 2027 elections rather, from the permutations who will likely be the presidential candidate of the ADC. Well, Dumebi Kachiko was the candidate in 2023. Who would be in 2027? Stick around.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
Thank you very much and welcome back into the Situation Room live on mainland 98.3 FM. See, the phone lines are buzzing. I know a lot of us want to have, conversation around, all of the things that had happened in the course of the week, especially on the issue of the coalition. But of course, remember, we have a sponsored 60 minutes on this show from, I think this will be like the 5th Friday right now, all the way down. But for next week's edition, we'll not be able to take it on Friday because of the rules of INEC, banning campaign 24 hours to the election. So my guest is going to be the chairmanship candidate of Asurulere local government on the platform of the PDP, and is going to be joining me on Thursday rather than the Friday that he's supposed to be with us on the show. So that's what's going to happen next week Friday, and next week Thursday rather. So we'll have the Friday edition of the show on Thursday, where I'm supposed to host the guys. But the chairman for Ikoyobalende LCDA on the platform of the Labour Party is also joining me on the show today. I would also look at some of his plans for his LCDA, his local government, and how ready they are ahead of the July 12th local government election in Lagos. We've had candidate of the PDP. Last week was the candidate of the APC for Ojokoro LCDA. She was live in the studio. We've also hosted the chairmanship candidate for Etiossa for Youth Party. So today is going to be Labour Party. Next week is going to be the PDP. Let's do this real quick. Let me also take a very short break. I will come back, the guests will be here, and then we'll have that conversation. Between October 2024 and January 2025, more than 265 lives have been lost to fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. Guess what? Twice of that number have perished in the last 2 years. In more than half a decade, tragedy had feasted on many human bodies. That is a resounding no. Scooping fuel from an overturned petrol tanker is not just risky, it is downright suicidal. Petrol, diesel, kerosene, and gas are highly flammable. One spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify pulling your own life on the line to stay alive. Whenever you see an overturned tanker or people attempting to scoop fuel, flee immediately or alert the relevant authorities to secure the area and prevent a potential explosion. It is better to stay alive for your loved ones who depend on you than any way being otherwise. Remember, fuel scooping is deadly. Don't take the risk. Stay alive, be alive, and live well.
This message is from Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Thank you very much, and good to have you back on the show. Well, my guest is live with us via phone. I told you they were all supposed to be in the studio, but if you look at where they're campaigning to head as chairman, then you know that once it rains in Lagos, it's a major problem. Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Gᴏᴜ joins me on the show. He's the Labour Party candidate for Ikoyi-Obalende LCDA ahead of the July 12, 2025 local government election in Lagos. Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ, good to have you join us in the Situation Room, and good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Okay. I know you were supposed to be live in the studio, but we know that once it rains, it's always a problem. And of course, I guess, a little of that will be part of the things you want to help the people of Ikoyi-Obalende to walk their ways around if they vote you into office. Talk to us about this week, Saturday, 12th of July, chairmanship election for Ikoyi-Obalende LCDA.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Gᴏᴜ, the Labour Party chairmanship candidate in my locality. Democracy said that, I think the definition of democracy is said that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's never a coincidence that the word people appear 3 times in that definition. And now, the people are not getting what democracy is all about. That is the social amenities that make life more easier for them is not there. Because Nigerian politicians, they have redefined what democracy is. They need as the government for themselves, for their family, and for their friends. So the definition doesn't bring out any people in that place. So the people will definitely not get the opportunity by empowering the youth, the women, and support the local businesses in my locality. And again, I have this in mind in the aspect of the health care. I want to do free health care for children from 1 to 10 years, going to be free health care. And the elderly one in Ikoyi-Obalende, I want to do free health care also for them from 60 upwards, everywhere in Nigeria or Lagos Party. I engaged with some people. They have like 2,000 naira at hand, and they are sick. I think they prefer to use that 2,000 to get food if they voted me in July 12th, next week Saturday. They're going to benefit a lot of democracy.
Okay. I've been privileged also to stay along that axis for about a year. And I will tell you for a fact that Ikoyi-Obalende is one of the local government or the LCDs that I think is so undertapped in terms of the numerous potentials of that particular axis. Now, there's a local government with all of the drama around local government elections in Nigeria. People always say, the Baba Sokwe syndrome, the incumbency syndrome. How well do you think the people of Ikoyi-Obalende have accepted your message ahead of Saturday's election?
Well, like I said, I've been in that Obalende for a very long time. and I've done a lot for the people in Eᴇᴜᴜ, like the medical outreach, done like checking their blood pressures and their sugar level. I've been in that particular area for long, and the people knows what I've done for them. They are the one projecting me to come out for this chairmanship election, because I've been doing a lot of things for them with my own personal money. That if I've been in that government, I think it will get more of me. I'm winning this election because the people vote will be counted. Either Baba Sokwe or Baba Sokwe, Labour Party is going to carry the day in the Eᴇᴜᴜ, and the awareness is there, and the people are giving us their support.
Okay. In area of priority, you've talked about providing affordable healthcare at subsidized rates for the people of your LCDA. You've also talked about youth empowerment. I want to believe that youth empowerment also covers, maybe secondary school students in terms of their JAMB and all of that. But in terms of priority, what are the most pressing issues that you think you would, get into action immediately if you win the election? What are the most?
I think I will definitely encourage our youth by empowering them to get something doing tangible. For in that 6 months, I promise to take 70% of that youth, engage them in doing something reasonable for their lives.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's talk about Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. Had always been the issue of funding. So local government will tell you that, the little funds that we have is what we're using to sort salaries, or we are using to take care of primary health care workers. How do you intend to, solve the problem of funding, especially knowing that you are an LCDA, not exactly captured in the 774 local government that the Constitution of Nigeria recognizes? How do you intend solving the issue of funding for your LCDA if you win the election?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I think we have a lot of revenue that can generate money for such projects, because we are not going to do a robust project that we cannot provide in the, because in the health sector, we are not going to spend much in that aspect, because that is my field. Money getting for the drugs and empowering the youth is not going to be something difficult for me to generate, because I have the best team on ground. I've started to work with me to achieve our goals.
I like that. I like the part where you also give yourself a very high winning percentage. The chairmanship candidate of Youth Party for Eᴇᴜᴜ was live in the studio, and he was talking about the fact that, what's your assessment of LASEC in terms of the preparation for this election? Do you trust the electoral body to do justice to the wish of the people on 12th of July?
Consulting this election, I think they didn't create more awareness on this until we Labour Party did our first rally in Obalende, and we have a lot of crowd that comes out. Before a lot of people think, what is going on? And we told them that a local government election is coming up on the 12th of July. Yeah, most people are not aware, but because of the awareness that we've created, a lot of people are now into this election, and the support that we got from the people all over Eᴇᴜᴜ, the support is so massive, and that is why.
Okay, thank you very much. If you're just joining us, I've been speaking with Dr. Olusegun Michael Babatunde, the Labour Party candidate for Eᴇᴜᴜ LCDA ahead of the July 12th, 2025 local government election in Lagos. And we've touched virtually all of the political parties, candidates that have made themselves available. We've had candidates from the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, the Youth Party. We're also going to be still ending the show next week, Thursday. We won't be doing it on Friday because of the 24 hours restriction for campaigning by LASEC. So we'll have to move Friday to Thursday. And we're going to be having the chairman of the chairmanship candidate of Sᴜᴜ joining us in the studio. But before we leave, I would also have another guest that will be joining us right here. That's the chairmanship candidate for Eᴇᴜᴜ local government. But let's quickly talk about this. It's a bigger challenge. The issue of securities, especially coming from Eᴇᴜᴜ. You've also talked about the fact that some of the young people there don't exactly have much work that they are doing. How in specifics, Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Michael, how do you intend to engage these young people? Because as long as they remain on the street, they continue to constantly create security threat to the people of your LCDA. What exactly do you want to do about this?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Like I said, we are going to train them on a vocational training to have the skills for themselves, and we empower them so that they will be out from the streets. Because I believe that hope is not a slogan, it's a movement. And we, the Ʀᴜᴜ people, are going to put this movement with me by the special grace of God.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an amazing conversation, actually, because of the campaign. I also know that the 20-minute rain in Lagos is a constant problem. Thank you, Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Michael Babatunde, for joining me on the show today. I wish you well, and I also hope that everything you wish yourself would also come through next week, Saturday, 12th. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we
to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ʴᴇᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
Thank you very much for staying with us. It's the Friday edition of the Situation Room, live from mainland 98.3 FM. I remember we started a series of conversation and engagement ahead of the July 12th local government election in Lagos. And we've had this conversation in partnership with Rethinking Cities and mainland 98.3 FM to bring every candidate that we can get across board, from PDP to APC to Labour to Youth Party to ADC, and we've had a whole lot of them in the studio. Before my other guests joined us, I had a conversation with the chairmanship candidate of Labour Party for Ikoyi-Obalende. That's Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Michael Babatunde. He joined us on the show for about 20 minutes to talk about some of the things he wants to do for the people of his LCDA, which is Ikoyi-Obalende. And right here is also the chairmanship candidate for Eᴇᴜ-Osᴟ local government on the platform of Labour Party, Mr. Honorable John Ademola Akano. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I know you were already on your way to the studio before.
Yeah, the traffic is something else.
Before Lagos Island. Before Lagos.
At just 1 point for almost 2-3 hours.
Before Lagos Island happened to you.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Everywhere on the island, even all the corners.
I can imagine, but of course, I thank God for technology. We can actually do this virtually, even if he's not joining us in the studio. Well, the election is 12th of July, and that's about 8 days from now. I can imagine how much work you've done, how much grounds you've covered for the, if I'm not mistaken. Well, let's talk about for Eᴇᴜ-Osᴟ local government.
Okay, thank you so much for your question. I think I've lived for a long time in the Eᴇᴜ-Osᴟ local government, and I've seen a lot of things that not working well. And I'm a man who is passionate, who loves to help people, who want to change the narrative of things in the environment.
Okay.
In the community.
Okay, talking about changing the narrative, Eᴇᴜᴜ local government is the big boy of local government in Lagos. I think the only thing Lᴏᴜᴜ has over Eᴇᴜᴜ is the population. I mean, in terms of where the big boys play, is certainly Eᴇᴜᴜ local government. What are the pressing needs? You talked about the fact that you've lived in that local government for so long and you know the problems. Maybe you want to share one or two of these problems with the people or your constituents that are listening to the show right now, and how you intend to tackle this problem.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me as well?
Yes.
Did you hear my question?
So, I think you can recall.
Okay. I said said you've lived in Eᴇᴜᴜ local government for so long, and then you know some of these problems. I don't need to highlight them to you. Anyone that goes to the island will know that there are issues of unemployment. A lot of young people are roaming the streets, and despite the fact that Eᴇᴜᴜ local government is supposed to be the cookie jar in Lagos in terms of the revenue, all of the VIs, the all of those axes. What are these problems that you've identified over a long period of time, and how do you intend to solve these problems?
Okay, so thank you so much for the question. I've identified a lot of pressing problems that needed urgent attention, such as infrastructure in terms of youth and women empowerment. I wouldn't want to say that the outgoing chairman is not doing his best, but I'm actually coming in to see how we can do more on what he has done. So, in terms of empowerment, youth and women empowerment, reconstruction of every bad road in every ward in Eᴇᴜᴜ local government. I've been to several locations myself. In fact, it rained today. You could see some area. We just passed through Chevron alternative there, and it was as if we needed a canoe to pass through the place. So, and these are things that need to be worked on. Those are the work of the local government chairman. I'm not saying that the outgoing local government chairman is not doing his best, but we are coming to see that to change the narrative of governance. I've been to Agungi, and I've not been to Agungi today because I know that place. In fact,
you'll have to go Igi to have access to anywhere you are going to in Agungi.
You get it. The same thing like Kusela, and there are so many roads that need to be fixed, which happens to be a local government chairman work duty. And due to some areas in Eᴇᴜᴜ also, we have some area that smells so bad. So we're looking at creating some kind of mobile look at how every market can be clean. I'm trying to create something like Clean Eᴇᴜᴜ initiative, and that one is we're going to bring in, we're going to employ people. It's going to even serve as a form of employment, where we're going to employ some people that their major work in the Eᴇᴜᴜ is to clean Eᴇᴜᴜ, to clean every ward in the Eᴇᴜᴜ, and they are going to be on payroll. I'm not saying that lawmen by the government of Lagos State are not doing well, but we just want to have something that we can build as a kind of track record. And then I'm looking at a way there are these children that are on every junction, every traffic light in the Eᴇᴜᴜ here, trying to look for a way to create a kind of center, a recreational center for them, whereby they can have access to a scholarship, and where they will be going to school and we'll create a kind of training center where some of them can learn fashion, learn hairdressing, learn handwork, whereby as time goes on, while they have and build in place a kind of shelter for them where they can be staying, and government, local government will be in charge to make sure that we take good care of them from whatever that is being given to us from the government. And all of these things, we pray that God is going to help us. So another thing is to see that every ward in every local government have a street light, whereby you can be, that's another way of tackling insecurity, whereby everybody can be assured that, okay, even though I'm working in the night, I'm not afraid that anybody can attack me. So we're going to partner with some companies to bring in some solar.
Okay. I mean, Honorable John, you said a lot. And then you and I know that funding is always a problem of local governments. Even with the local government autonomy judgments, we still know that some local governments still struggle to meet up with some of their responsibilities with only the funds coming in from the Federation account. How do you intend to, take advantage of the luxury of businesses that you have in your local government to generate funds for some of these issues? Are you looking at areas of partnership, or how do you intend to handle some of them? Because you've listed a whole national centers for the youths that are, not employed. You want to talk about the issue of primary health care. All of these demands money. How do you intend to handle this situation?
Okay, so thank you so much for that question. I believe that whatever is being shared to the local government, if we prioritize ourselves well and we plan very well, some of these things are achievable. And also, by the help of, like in the health center now, the health care issue, I am going to partner with some organizations and some HMOs, companies where they can assist, and also whatever that is coming from the government, it is possible that we can utilize it very well and achieve all of these things in no time.
Okay, so there's always that concern, especially when it comes to local government election in Nigeria. And there's always the factor of, the ruling party at the center often always have, a go at probably all of the seats. If you look at the narrative of local government elections, especially since after the Supreme Court judgment, from Bauchi to Kaduna to Nasarawa to Plateau to Benue to Oyo to Osun, it's been a clean sweep for the ruling party. How do you rate your chances being a member of the Labour Party, standing against the status quo in a local government, not an LCD, a local government as important as Etiosa? How do you trust, last year rather, to conduct a free, fair, and credible election on the 12th of July? And if you think so, what do you think your chances are going into that election?
Okay, so just like you said, that if the election is allowed to go free and fair, I stand 99.999 chances of winning. So we should
let's not even do the election then. Let's just wait for swearing.
You understand? So like I always said that if it's not allowed to be a selection, it's allowed to be
an election.
An election. So we stand the chance. I stand the chance. All my other colleagues stand the chance. And a lot of people want a change of governance. So people have seen us that we've handled one position or the other in different organizations, and we've been able to prove ourselves as men of integrity. I personally, somebody was saying it that this is the man for the job because whatever he says, he does it. Even if you look at the Sun paper that came out today, you will see me on the headline.
Mm.
You understand me? So I'm on the headline there. So and I've done a couple of businesses with a lot of people in Ethiopia here, and a lot of people can testify to you that if he tells you what to do, what he wants to do, he is going to do it. Yeah. So I prioritize integrity and honesty more than any other.
Okay. So now that you feel you've got 99.9% chance going into that election, do you think LASEC is ready to conduct that election? We've had, candidates from different political parties express their worries about the conduct of the election, especially in areas of creating awareness. The local government election is not something that a lot of people always pay attention to. Of course, as against the general election where there's going to be lockdown and everybody stays and all of that. How much awareness do you think you have done, not necessarily as a candidate, but also as a concerned Lagosian, as a concerned member of the Etiosa community, in telling people to come out and exercise their franchise on the 12th of July?
Okay, so in that place, I've done a lot. I've visited some grassroots locations, some locations. I visited the place of some communities in the ETS. So, and I've been to some radio stations to talk about it, and we have a lot of ETS people online. In fact, there are a lot of questions being thrown from ETS. So, and like I said today, I was on the headline in newspaper and The Sun, and I've done one-on-one going up from one word to another word to talk to people about the July 12th, how we're coming in.
So do you think LASEC is also ready? And do you trust LASEC to be impartial going into that election?
I think that is where the challenges are. Because most of us who have been to LASEC, we've seen some kind of signal, and it's looking like we trust them. Just like I did a video 3 days ago, and I'm appealing to them. I was appealing to them because some of other parties were being delayed for a longer time for them to attend to us. I had to go on live and appeal to them and said, please, LASEC should please attend to every other party member, like Labour Party, before they now start allowing one or two people to start coming in. So I am appealing to LASEC and to the Lagos State government to allow this election to go. I told the person, I said, after the election, what next? I asked the person the question. I said, after the election, what next? Because if we allow the election to go free and fair, let people learn to choose their leader. Let people learn to say, okay, this is who we want head in this seat, and let them be able to do it. Let them be able to put the person in position. Let it not be like it's a do or die thing. Because life continues after politics.
The election.
After the election, life continues. Every one of us will still meet ourselves again. We'll still do businesses together. So they should just allow the election to go free and fair. I know that a lot of local government elections has been a selection method. But with the narrative of things, this one is changing. Because before, in local government election, you don't see billboards, you don't see banners, you don't see...
Now there's a lot of such everywhere.
Now, a lot coming in. That means that people want a change in Nigeria. So everybody wants a change. So as it is now, LASEC should allow this election to go free and fair, and let whoever wins be the local government chairman. That is all I want to say. Thank you.
Well, a lot has been said, and I mean, it seems it's the same concern that almost all of the candidates have raised in terms of how prepared LASEC is going into this election. And believe me, they've had enough time. Other states have done elections 6 months, 5 months, 4 months ago, and they've moved on. Even with the entire drama that followed the Osun local government election, the judgments prior to the election, they've done the election, they've moved on. So LASEC has enough enough time, to have gone through it, preparing for this election, and it only serve the interest of everyone. More importantly, the interest of democracy, especially at the grassroots. If this election ultimately reflects the decisions and the choices of the people at the grassroots, because if the people continue to feel disoriented and they feel, discouraged at the grassroots, it's going to affect the general election in future. So we also appeal to LASEC to do the right thing. Let everyone get their choice. Materials should arrive at the units, whatever polling voting point or polling unit that are being scrapped. Let the right things be done. Thank you so much, Honorable John Ademola Akano, the Labour Party. Thank you. Thank you. The Labour Party candidate for Eᴇᴜ local government. Honorable Akano, I wish you well. Yes, I know it's a big task, especially how you have to mount it up against the standing order of the ruling party in the state. But like you said you're 99.99% sure that if the election should go free, fair, and credible, your wish for the people of Eᴇᴜ will come to pass. I wish you well as well. The same thing I've said to everyone that have been on this show. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, let me apologize, if possible, on behalf of nature for you not being able to make it down into the studio today.
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, that was Honorable John Ademola Akano, the Labour Party candidate for Eᴇᴜ local government ahead of the July 12th, 2025 local government election in the state. Yes. Well, let's see how it goes. Everyone had expressed concerns about the readiness of LASEC to conduct that election, but God willing, next week before the election, I will try and get the information officer of LASEC to be with us on the show, to also talk to the people about creating awareness on why Lagosians need to come out across the 20 local government and the 37 LCDAs to vote for their candidates, from Ikorodu to Ketu to Eᴇᴜ to Ikoyi-Obalende to Agege, everybody to Moso-Kola to Ikpaja-Yobo. Everybody should come out, because if we say we want to feel the impact of governance, I want to reap the dividends of democracy, then we need to pay attention to what happens at the local government level. Somebody jokingly said something on X a few months ago that now he would rather prefer to contest as local government chairman than for House of Assembly in any state. Well, thank you very much to the two guests. We were supposed to have them live in the studio. Unfortunately, we couldn't have them in the studio, but local governments ahead of the July 12th election. And of course, we had Dr. Lᴏᴜᴜ Babatunde, the Labour Party candidate for Ikoyi-Obalende LCDA in the same election.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ʟᴇᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every roommates as we discuss the situations.
Thank you very much and welcome back. In our efforts to make sure that the people get connected to their local government, Mainland FM went into that partnership with Rethinking Cities for a 6-week Fridays conversation around the July 12th local government election in Lagos State. We've done 5. Today is the 5th one. But next week Fridays would have to be done on Thursday for obvious reasons. You can't campaign 24 hours to the election. So with us on the show, probably in the studio, next week Thursday, rather than the Friday we usually have it. So, well, I hope a lot of us understand how important it is for us to get involved with local government. Let's have a say in who governs us at the local level. If now we have the local government autonomy, and we're hoping that there will be full implementation of that same judgment going forward, then we know that we can't just be holding the national responsible. We'll have to look at the subnationals. What are the governors doing with the billions that is made available to them? And of course, what are the local government chairmen doing? Their projects, the local government rules, the primary health care center, the markets, the securities at the local government level. What at the local level? So that we don't just sit here and then blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for all of the problems. Yes, we know that the entire responsibility, stops on the table of the president. But you also need to ask your local government chairman. They are the people, some of them, to the secretariat of your local government and ask questions from your chairman. You can also do the same for your governors. So let us also start holding our local government chairman accountable so that whatever millions or billions, in this case, some local government, yes, are getting in about 1.3 billion from allocation every month. Some of them have LCDs under them, yes, we know, but we need to ask the questions. What do you do with all of the monies made available to you as a local government chairman? These questions are important. And the only way you can legitimately ask those questions is if you come out and participate in the local government election. Don't make it look like now local government, what it concerns me. It concerns you. In fact, that is supposed to be the ones that concerns you the most, because it is your local government. The safety, the security, the development of that local government affects you. The choice. Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel threatened. Don't give up. Don't think, they already decide who would win. It's selection rather than election. Go out and vote. Exercise your franchise. Make your thumbprints. Make your voice heard. Make your voice, let it matter. So that you will not wake up and say, the local government chairman is not working. I would ask you, did you vote for him? No, I didn't vote for him. So if you don't, your Bible will say, if you don't vote for me, you don't have the right to criticize me for not working. It's as simple as that. Yes, you can go for other candidates and then criticize the one that is not working. But not participating in that process is not something that will benefit anyone. So that when you are holding people accountable, your conscience can say, I voted for you. Why are you not doing this? Why are there no... What is happening to electrification at the local government level? These are the responsibilities of the local government chairman. And the 12th of July 2025 in Lagos gives you the opportunity to correct whatever wrong you think is happening at the national or the subnational. Hold your local government chairman by their trousers. Thank God I didn't use the wrong word. I will have landed in trouble. But it's just me appealing to Lagosians. Please, please, and please get involved in local government politics. And more importantly, vote for local government chairman. Don't stay indoors on the day of election. Go out. Vote for the candidate of your choice. Any party you choose, any candidate that you choose, but make sure you vote on the 12th of July 2025. Like I said, I will try my best to get members of the information desk of LASEC to be on the show before next week Saturday and to come talk to us about the level of preparation ahead of the July 12th election. But let's open the phone line. 0913-600-0410. Even while my guest was there, you've been calling. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank God you started up for me.
Well,
look, you see, politicians, they always took advantage of Nigeria. They always took advantage of the situation of the country unnecessarily. This coalition or no coalition, they just capitalize on that Nigeria is suffering. That's what they get there. They can't do nothing than what they're doing now. But that is not up on Nigeria. About the local government. Okay, you and I know now. It will happen in Rivers and Osun concerning local government chairman. When a governor, a sitting governor, change the name of his own political party and name and adopt another party, and all the political party, all the chairman won all the states, including Osun. Okoyemi, between me and you, what do you expect? What do you expect? The governor, their emperor, dictator in their own state. If the federal government use the same power on them, people cry foul. The governor use power on the local government. So what do you expect? Look, we need to restructure our electricity bank. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Musbah. But yes, I understand your worries and concerns about the ability of LASIK to pull this election through. But I'm very positive. But the truth of the matter is that we need to trust the system. We need to also believe that things can be properly done so that our candidates or the candidate do you know concern me. Please, you should get involved. Hello, good evening.
Yes, concerning the coalition, see, to me, well, it's good for opposition party. It's good for us to have an opposition party so that the country can move forward. Because when the incumbent party are doing nothing, the opposition are the one that will push them to do things right. But the way we are doing opposition here in Nigeria, we are deceiving ourselves. Because one, most of those are political parties. They don't have a political culture. They just have political interest. All of them, they have political interest. That is what they have in common. But there's no political culture and there's no proper structure. Because everybody is just going there. Most of them are among the problems that we are facing in this country. No, it's not so well going on. Let's be sincere and let's be realistic. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. But this is a country whereby we see the truth, we will not want to follow it. We will just be panicking and we'll just be doing panicking and just doing as if we don't know. Now, concerning the Lagos State election, maybe
July 4th.
July 4th. That July 12th, I swear to God, quote me today, quote and unquoted. I'm telling you, it will be like a selection. I stand to be corrected. Let's just move on. And that is what is not encouraging people to be going out. I'm not saying people should not go out, but quote me today. You will say that somebody said it today.
Desk of Mainland 98.3 FM will be on the field on the 6th of July. On the 12th of July, rather, to cover that election. I will give you comprehensive report of everything. But the truth is this: the level of awareness on this local government election is super, super poor. Super low, and that's the fact. A lot of people don't know that there's going to be next election in Lagos next week Saturday. A lot of people don't know. A lot of Lagosians don't know, except maybe the candidates that are campaigning within their space, within their confined zones. Collaboration with Rethinking Cities to make sure that people are aware, and they're not just aware, they also get the opportunity to hear the the programs that their local government chairman is having for them if they win the election. Prince Wise, let me have your thoughts. Oh, got a bit late. Let me pick calls. 0913-600-0410. Hello, Barrister Peter Oko. Good evening.
Yeah, my friend. Dr. How are you?
You couldn't get through yesterday, I know.
Yes, I tried what you couldn't believe. The issue of local government election is very, very paramount to me. Both in Lagos State or throughout the whole Nigeria. My humble suggestion is that for now, more emphasis should be placed on local government elections, because it is the election that is close to the heart of the people. As far as I'm concerned, all these presidency to National Assembly, to state assemblies, we should suspend it for now. After this administration expires in two years, we should suspend it and appoint a committee of patrons, made up of the media, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the CSOs, that is the
civil society organizations.
Exactly. So even the Nigerian Students Association of Nigerian Students. So they should form a committee of patrons to probe over 100 trillion naira that have been stolen to repair this country.
Thank you.
And restructure this country.
Thank you.
Before any political participations could continue. Otherwise, Nigeria is heading to the mortuary.
Thank you very much. I don't want us to go there. And I hope that things will get better. And how things...
Good evening, Ope.
You're welcome. That's Mr. Dixon, right?
Yes, you are welcome.
You're welcome.
Quite some time now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, the coalition is a welcome idea, but I fear. Fear in the sense that articles aviation, Peter Obi's aviation, then Lᴏᴜᴜ aviation. I don't know who stepped down for who.
That's why they will have primaries, Mr. Thompson. There will be primaries.
So I pray that we don't use dollars that day to scatter everywhere. If they actually come out here to say, let us speak without actually spreading money, then we have a credible candidate. Sure. But the moment we exchange his hand, that's the end of the coalition. But I pray and I wish that coalition stands. That's for the coalition. They will come to this local government primary. Most people don't want to wait. This guy is person I see APC. I hardly see
any other
party, which is wrong. I hardly see any other party. Everywhere is APC. Everywhere, which is wrong. That is not democracy now. This is democracy. It's wrong. So as far as concerned, if it's only God that will help us, let us continue to pray and hope for a better Nigeria. One day, God will see us and rescue us from this government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson, for joining the conversation. And that's the truth. I totally agree with the fact that the level of awareness ahead of these local governments are not exactly being at a level that you think people really know that there are local governments coming up. And that's a big problem. So when you have 20 local governments and 37 LCDs and people even residing in those local governments don't even know the election is coming up, there's something has to be wrong somewhere. Madam Ifi, good evening. You're welcome, man. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm fine. It's raining here. I'm outside just taking the cool breeze.
Ah, okay.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. You see, on Saturday, I was in the Shaga market site. Come and see people. Neighbor. One of my person that I used to be in PDP. They had to come to labor. That was a small campaign, no? But at the end of the day, they're going to write it. If you like, bring 1 million people to come and do campaign for you. What will be with it? Because that is the pattern. Once the governor seat, the APC governor, PDP governor, any of them, they go for local government. That's why Wike wanted to die because of the local government. Of
local government, they are local governments. So in the list of local governments, they are local governments. So you cannot compare Boni. Or you want to compare some local governments in Rivers to some local governments in Taraba. So in the list of local governments, they are local governments.
Exactly. All of them, this local government. That local government is not functional. It's not functional. And it's sad because if local government is functional, all these bumpy roads I'm seeing to where I'm living, it should be there. Oh. Bye-bye. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend as well. So that we don't run into trouble, let's check the messages on Facebook. We'll also read some of the messages you sent to us. 0913-600-0410. Not so it. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇ Michael says, to be candid, there's no much awareness for the forthcoming local government election in Lagos on the part of LASEC. I just want to appeal to LASEC to conduct a free, fair, and credible election in all the 20 local government and 37 LCDAs. I just want to hope that it won't be business as usual, when in most cases it is the ruling party that always clear the old seats. It's time for the National Assembly to speed up the passage of the bill. At least Governor Sanwo-Olu says they are doing the route to your community now. So that we'll have peace of mind small. Benjamin, he says, talking to us, but let me talk to Prince Wise first. Hello, Prince Wise.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
More blessing for you.
And you too as well.
And thank you for your generosity. For inviting all those or no party to your studio. You know, that's one of those things. I want to throw a question to you. Is the ADC going to contest election in Lagos?
They will.
Do they have any chairman of local government?
What
government? I don't want APC to win all the local government. If other party, opposition party, win a local government in Lagos, I think it will. That party shows example that we can do it, and that's supposed to be. But my fear is that the ruling governor always win all the local government chairman. They can only give 2 council or 3 to opposition, which doesn't go well.
And some of them will end up decamping.
I'm telling you, even if we have any opposition win now, at the end of the day, we still decamp.
Thank you, Prince Wise. We are pressed for time. I need to let you go. Apologies. Benjamin is saying, I would love to have other parties that are giving the opportunity to serve the people as well, so that we can compare. That's Benjamin from Shogunle. Well, as at yesterday morning, there's a switch in power in Plateau State as the former speaker, Aratanebu Dawang, resigned as stepped down rather as a speaker, and then there's a new speaker. So guess what? The APC controls the Plateau State House of Assembly, and the governor is of the PDP. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully, Lagos State Lagosians would also troop out on the 12th of July to choose their preferred candidate, irrespective of the political parties that they choose to stand with. And talking about standing, we stand with the people on Mainland 98.3 FM. Thank you so much. What a week it's been. Super charged up. Absolutely engaging. Thank you to everyone that called, all of the guests we've had the entire week. Thank you, Mr. Shola Fashuri, Mr. Miwa DME, all of my guests today across board. Thank you. And for the people, and I got the conversation up, you listening to me today, I said, let's do this again next week, Monday, from 4 to 5:30 p.m., all the way down to Friday. But before then, there's going to be Mainland FM Global News at 5:30, and I would come back to take you through the Friday edition of Sports Cruise live from Mainland 98.3 FM. Stay safe and keep your dial locked only on Mainland 98.3 FM, because we